All right. Well, welcome everybody. This is Troy Fullwood with Pinnacle Investments, and I want to welcome you to this webinar today. Appreciate that. So let me go ahead and tee this up. Let me go ahead and bring the PowerPoint to life here. So I want to talk with you guys about Generational Wealth Blueprint. And Generational Wealth Blueprint is our flagship product. And what's interesting about it is that for the last 22 years, I've been in the business in an industry that produces generational wealth. It produces generational cash as well. And we have spent a lot of time educating people, although we spend the majority of our time doing deals, and we spend a small percentage of our time, when I say small compared to other people, doing the educational side of it. And as we, over the last 90 days in our business, and as the year was doing what it was doing, we started looking at things a little bit differently. Started looking at it through the eyes of investors, started looking at it through the eyes of students and just the industry as a whole, and wanted to do something bigger than we'd done before. And so what we did is we put together a program called Generational Blueprint, or Generational Cash Flow. And where it stems from and where it came from was my grandfather. My grandfather's wisdom is one of those things that, probably like a lot of people, was one that you hear a lot, but you don't necessarily know how to apply it. And what I mean by that is he had some rules that he was always telling myself and my other cousins, rules that would work in life. Number one rule was build a business that produces cash flow. He was never really specific about it, but he was always harping and telling us that this is the type of thing we should be doing. Rule number two was to invest first, spend later. So he was always a big advocate of saving money. He was always a big advocate of investing. And he invested in a lot of different things. He invested in precious metals. He invested in coins. He invested in stamps. He invested in the stock market. He invested in assets, real estate. He invested in a lot of different things over the period of time that I got to know him. And then rule number three, solve a problem will create wealth, was always one of the things that he said all the time. As a matter of fact, he was a certified accountant and a practicing accountant prior to the inception of the IRS. So being around him and my other aunts and uncles that had 9 different companies total in our family, I was surrounded by entrepreneurs on a regular basis. As a matter of fact, I grew up around them. And the holiday season, whenever we got together for family events or reunions and things like that, everybody was always talking about business and how their business was doing or wasn't doing. And we're challenged by various things, and we shared various things. And because of that, that's what I grew up around. Now, when you grow up around those types of things, one of the challenges with it is you kind of take it for granted. Okay, matter of fact, you don't kind of, you do, is the simplest way to put it. You take it for granted because you think that that's the norm. Okay, you think that that's the norm in every aspect of life. Like, I thought my friends and their families all had businesses as well. And what I learned as I grew up and, I say, left the nest and started out on my own and started running companies and businesses, that it wasn't the norm. Matter of fact, I didn't even know that it wasn't the norm back then, because even back then, when I ran companies and built companies, I was always surrounded by other entrepreneurs. It wasn't until I got into the educational space that I found out that it really wasn't the norm for people. And so it was very enlightening. It was very eye-opening at the end of the day that there were a lot of people out there that had a desire and a passion to be in the world of entrepreneurship, but really hadn't been given the guidance and the direction. So then I started looking at myself. And I started looking at these rules that my grandfather would often share with us, myself and my cousins. And he always would tell us what to do, but he would never really show us what to do. And now I don't know if any of you have parents or had, parents growing, obviously everybody had parents growing up, but your parents would tell you to go do something, but they wouldn't really show you how to do that thing. Or maybe they would show you to a certain point and then you were kind of off on your own. Well, my grandfather was very much that way. You should invest your money. In what? You should create a business that created cash flow. What kind of business? And he was never overly specific. He understood the rule of 72. He understood compound interest. He was a practicing accountant way before the IRS was created. So he understood, and he worked with a lot of other entrepreneurs, because most people back in the day, meaning the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s, and into the 80s and stuff, it was business owners that would use his service. Your average person, your W-2 employee, was not using his service. They would use it for tax time, for filing taxes, but at the end of the day, they weren't using him for, I say, balancing their books as a whole. So he was never really specific. He would always just encourage us to do certain things. Now, mind you, back then in the 60s and 70s, wasn't the type of investing models that there were and is today. And so we were fairly limited on things that we could do. Now, fixing houses and doing those kinds of things, I think, has always been a part of our culture, and probably not as, spoken about as highly as it is today. But back then, it was still happening. It was still going on. As a matter of fact, the very first house I bought in 1985, I bought from a husband and wife fix and flip team in Mesa, Arizona, on 9th Avenue is where it was located. So that was the very first house I ever purchased. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, 1-car carport, outside laundry, kind of walkway through the carport, house, laundry room type model. And that was the first house I bought. So, and that was in 1985, after I graduated high school. My point being is that we've all been surrounded with people that had great intentions. We've all had people in our lives that had great intentions, that were always about giving us great advice, great wisdom. And they would pass, their idea of passing along the wisdom was always to go do this, but never really showing us how to do that, whatever that was. So I took my grandfather's wisdom. I focused on rule number 4, which referred to rules 1, 2, and 3. And I went out and I built the very first business I ever built. And it started 36 years ago. And 36 years ago, I started my journey as an entrepreneur my senior year in high school in the landscaping business. And little did I know at the time, or little did I understand at the time, that at that time, the RTC and the savings and loan crisis was alive and well in our country. And because of that, there was a lot of houses flooding the market, being foreclosed upon, and ultimately needing to be cleaned up. And I teamed up with a real estate management company that was sending me all kinds of business, and to the tune of, we were making anywhere between $400 to $600 per property cleanup, residential property cleanup, and we were doing anywhere between 5 to 8 of these a week. Now, as a 17-year-old kid, I was making some good money. I was making some great money. Not good money, I was making some great money. And that was just those accounts. That was just one account that I was getting this type of business from. Well, that started my journey into being a landscaper. And as my company grew, and as the more jobs that we did, what we were instantly gravitating towards was more entrepreneurs. We were gravitating, because ours was a luxury service. Ours was a service that most people couldn't afford, because most people didn't want to pay somebody back then to come and mow their yard. Now, nowadays, it's kind of, in some areas of the country, it's pretty commonplace. But back then, it was a luxury item. And so we had a tendency to gain or build or be around other entrepreneurs who could afford our services. So our niche back then was high-end residential and small commercial was our niche. Ironically, it's still my niche today in the note business. Kind of ironic as a whole. But 36 years ago, my journey started as a landscaper. And through that, I went through my landscaping career. We built companies, we sold companies, we built other companies, we sell those companies. And it transitioned into working on golf courses and golf course management, and working with Ben Crenshaw and Tom Weiskopf, Jay Morrish, and high caliber players along those lines. And then, lo and behold, I came into the note business. Now, the note business was completely accidental. It was completely by accident. And it was completely by accident because I had no intention of being in the note business. I had no intention of being around the debt space. I had no intention of investing in NPLs. And what I started to realize was, in learning the business, that oftentimes people were constantly saying, just go do this, just go do that. A lot like my grandfather would say, just go do this, just go do that. But there was never really anybody sitting people down and actually showing them step by step on what could actually happen for their business. Now, I understood investing to a small degree. But when the light bulb really went off for me is when I was working with hedge funds and working on Wall Street and doing business on Wall Street. That time value of money really was a huge thing. Not to mention the rule of 72 really, really kicked in. Compound interest became real world for myself and my family. And I started thinking back about the times when my grandfather would often say, go invest in this, go do this. And that's really hard to tell a 19-year-old kid to do those certain things, because at age 19, you look at life as if you've got your whole life ahead of you. But what you don't realize at age 19 is you can't turn back the hands of time. But then again, you're not interested in turning back the hands of time. At least I wasn't, because I didn't want to go backwards to high school days, which would be turning back the hands of time. So there's this huge, how do you say, application understanding challenge between people with wisdom, like my grandparents and your grandparents and your parents and my parents, telling us as young adults, do this, do this, do this, and this will set you up for massive success and wealth. But they don't really show us. They're not really taking us and saying, here's what you do, and here's why you do these things. And even when they do, sometimes it doesn't sound all that exciting, because who wants to wait 20 years or 30 years for your money to compound out into millions of dollars when at age 19 and 20, all you're looking for is a brand new car, or for a brand new motorcycle, or a trip with your buddies and your friends and your girlfriend and things of that nature. Very realistic for myself. But when I got into the landscaping business, things started to click for me. One, the people I was around, the insight, the wisdom, the mentoring that took place. Number two, the growth of that business, then into real estate, then into real estate notes, and then getting on Wall Street and really seeing from that bird's eye perspective backwards where I'd made huge mistakes in my investing career and investing model. And the truth is, I can't turn back the hands of time. Although at age 53, I'd love to go back 20 years and take the knowledge I have today and take it back to that spot 20 years ago. Because exponentially, my results would be tenfold plus over and above what they are. And I'm very grateful and I'm very blessed at the life that we have as a family and the successes that I've had along my way. So some of you may be joining me for the first time tonight. You're probably wondering, who's Troy Fuller? Well, I've been a note investor since 1996. I've done over 15,000 transactions, total out $1.6 billion in transactional history. 2015, I was a Mortgage Investor of the Year by Wealth and Finance magazine. 2016, 2017, Best in the Best of Finance by Acquisitions International, which is a industry trade magazine that we do business all over the world. The number one best-selling real estate investor book on Amazon called The Power of Paper. If you've read it, thank you very much for your support. If you've read it and haven't had a chance to leave a review, please go back and leave a review. We're throwing out some cool swag stuff for those that do. Here's why I do what I do. I wanted, when the light bulb went off for me, when I was on Wall Street, and the light bulb went off for me, I wanted to start building generational wealth. And at that same time, I was going through some very challenging personal challenges, but that passion never left me. That desire never left me. And we've been able to rebuild and do some things that we haven't, that weren't available back then. The life that I live today is because of an amazing woman. Her name is Kim, who's my wife. Some of you have had the chance to talk to her and meet her and even receive emails. She does a lot of our communications and customer support. But we just got back from a 10-day vacation. We're now able to do those things on a regular basis. Matter of fact, we have a goal every 90 days, we're taking a 10-day vacation. And this last 10-day vacation, we took a cruise. Not only did we take a cruise for our family, but we went with dear friends of ours, Milton Pauline, and he is an investor, and he has been building generational wealth for quite some time as well. Now, the great thing about that is we get to celebrate his 70th birthday, and we get to talk about investing and doing all kinds of things, but we also sailed the 7 seas, or sailed the high seas, and we went to the Grand Caymans, we went to Cozumel, we went to Jamaica, and we went to Princess Cays on the Princess cruise ship. Here's us in the Princess Cays, my son and I here playing some football in the water. The boys and I, we were in Jamaica. Yeah, this was in Jamaica. Trying to get them to take a picture is like trying to herd cats some days, but it's one of the things we love doing. Here's formal night on the cruise ship, and got a chance to take a picture of my beautiful wife and Camden and Parker. Here's Camden and Parker in Cozumel. We went to a dolphin encounter. You see some of the dolphin pool right behind it. And then here's us on the bottom left-hand corner. We did private dining on the ship, first-class private dining, just the 6 of us, and go into this room with all these glass walls and wine and stuff, and we got to enjoy our dinner in a private, casual atmosphere. But before I left there, I took a moment and shared. I caught the twins. We were at a hotel that we stayed at before we took off and came home, Florida. And what was cool about it was it overlooked the ocean. And the twins, I caught the twins like looking out, and I was talking with them about what's possible in this world. And what's possible in this world is amazing. Their eyes see the world in such a different way than I see it, or Kim sees it, or most adults see it. And my goal is to show them what they need to do to have what it is they want to have. And that's how generational wealth blueprint came to life. Was, wait a minute, how can we go out there and change the lives of people and show them so that they can show their children what needs to be done to truly create generational wealth? Not only can we start today, but you can do things today, and then you can teach these same things to your children or to your family members, your brothers and sisters, whoever it may be, that you're passionate about teaching them, because they're really just financial models. They're really very, I say, user-friendly to do. They do take some work and they do take some discipline. But at the end of the day, if you follow the step-by-step model for doing it, now all of a sudden you start developing generational wealth. My focus has always been, or has been for the last 22 years, in the area of real estate notes and mortgages. And the beautiful thing about that is that it's really easy to build not only generational cash flow, but generational wealth in that space. So I'm going to spend some time here today sharing with you the types of things that can be done that are available here today, right now, that are working right now in this industry that you can apply to your business right now in this industry to grow the business that you want to grow. So there's 3 C's to generational wealth. There's 3 C's to this business. You got to have contacts, contracts, and closings. So the 3 C's are contacts, contracts, and closings. That centers around every single transaction. So the first thing is you've got to have marketing. In other words, you've got to let the world know who you are. If you don't do those things, then you don't get deal flow in so that you can either wholesale it or so that you can either purchase it, whichever suits your current state of affairs. So that's one of the number one things. I still, after 22 years, am still meeting new people all the time. Because even after 22 years of marketing and doing things and the marketing environment changes, how is it that people know about me? Well, I have to market to them. I have to let them know that I exist. I have to raise my hand and say, hey, I'm over here. Hey, I'm over here. So that's contacts. Number 3 is contracts, locking the deal up, getting the deal under contract, finding out what the seller's why is. So many times people want to spend energy selling to their goal and not to the seller's goal, okay? Meaning that most salespeople will go into a relationship wanting to sell that customer on what they want that customer to purchase. If you think about it for just a moment, you'll find that that accuracy of that statement is incredible. You go to a car dealership, they want to sell you a car. You do this, they want to do that. In other words, they're trying to sell you into something. But the question is that something that you really want? I've learned that I can increase my deal flow and my contracts by understanding what the seller's expectations are, by finding out what the seller really wants out of the deal. And if I can deliver that, then I can close that deal or I can put that deal under contract. The 3rd C is closing. Closing the deal so that the deal produces a profit. Either it's a lump sum payday up front, which I can reinvest into more deals, or it's a cash flow that I purchase. In other words, I buy the note and then allow that cash flow to feed my family for generations. Now, all of you know that the majority of mortgages out there are done on 30-year terms. So when you buy something, meaning a note or mortgage, it now becomes a generational cash flow. It creates generational wealth because you're buying it at a discount, you're getting the cash flow, which now creates cash flow and improves your wealth. Also using one of the 8th wonders of the world, or what's been known as the 8th wonder of the world, compound interest. So you're working with the best of the best when it comes to tools by being in the note investing space, by being in the note environment, by being either a wholesaler or an investor in the space. The great thing that I've always loved about it is when you buy a deal and you put it in your portfolio, it then performs for decades, okay? It performs for decades. And even if it pays off early, because my marketing is in place, because my contacts are always being developed, I can take that money and reallocate it to the next one, thereby putting my money back to work very easily. Okay. My grandfather never showed me these types of strategies. I often wonder if he knew these types of strategies, to be frankly honest with you, considering that seller financing or the note space has been around since the early days of the colonial settlement. That's how people bought and sold property, was through notes. It's only evolved into the institutional side, as we understand it, the B of A's and the Wells Fargo of the world, because of the demand for it. And the government got involved and institutionalized it. Prior to that, it was the neighbors or friends and family selling properties back and forth through notes. The 3 C's: contacts, contracts, and closings. Here's a quick case study on a property out of Georgia. See, it's a nice house. Sales price on the property was $599. Down payment on it was $600,000. Current unpaid principal balance was $539. The interest rate was 7.5%. Terms on it was 360 months, pretty straightforward, and the monthly payment was $37.68. Okay. Now, the great thing about this is that this is a pretty simple deal, very straightforward, very vanilla. And what I found out when I got this deal, or put it on, I made the contact, I then put it under contract with the seller, and I understood at the time that they had an underlying lien of $387,000 on this house. So he had this underlying lien with a local bank, and we understood that the note balance was $539, unpaid principal balance $539, because it was very new. It was only 1 month worth of seasoning. And we came in and we purchased the note for $450,000. Now, this is a lot of eggs in one basket. So for me personally, I don't like having all these eggs in one basket. So I wholesaled this deal. I wholesaled it to an institutional buyer who bought it. And because I wholesaled it to him, I received $18,200 for this particular deal, which took 23 days to close from beginning to end. All I simply did was I created the marketing, I contacted the people, I put it under contract, and I took it to closing with the due diligence of the bank, one of the banks that we do business with on a regular basis. Now, why do I do business with banks? Because they have money all the time. And I learned years ago that if you're going to build a business, you're going to scale a business, you're going to create that generational cash flow, that generational wealth behind it, that you want to make sure that you're working with people that always have money. That way, you always have an exit strategy for the deals that come across your desk. Now, I know that there's private investors out there, and I know that there are private parties out there that are investing in notes. I get that. I think it's great. They're putting their money to work. They're creating their own personal generational wealth. But what I also know about oftentimes these people is they're limited on capital. And because they're limited on capital, there's only so many things that they can do. And although we have a lot of relationships with people that are doing it that way, it's not how we scale and grow a business exponentially. Matter of fact, we had one, it was really kind of funny, not in a funny haha way, but was really kind of interesting, as I priced out a deal prior to going on our cruise, and didn't hear anything back. Didn't really follow up. We were busy. I was unplugged from the business. I just wanted to focus on family time. And I got an email yesterday, actually it was late last night, and they said, hey, we took this deal to another buyer. They can't buy it. Are you still interested in buying? And all of a sudden, and it said in the email, very important, they gave us more money. Now, I don't know what was more. It could have been a couple $1,000s more. It could have been a couple $100 more. But the simple truth is that particular investor can't perform. So the great part about it is now it's on my desk, and I told them I would look at it here tomorrow, and I'll look at it and see what it is that we've got that we're working with here. And chances are 90% chance that we'll move it forward and we'll get it done and we'll get it closed, and that person will earn a commission on it, which is really very cool. But you don't always have to be the highest bidder in this business to get deals. Okay? Contrary to popular belief, you don't always have to be the highest bidder. So bottom line is, for the last 21 years, I've always been able to find mortgage deals to wholesale for quick cash. So far in 2018, I've done 46 deals for an average of $10,430 a deal, with a total of $479,780 in wholesale income for 2018. That's just 2018. Now, that doesn't count the number of deals that we bought, which is well over 7 figures. Not quite 8 figures, but well over 7 figures that we've been able to now take this kind of money, put it in notes, create the generational wealth for my family, for my children. And as my twins get older, I'll be able to teach it to them. I've taught it to my wife, and I'm now starting to teach it to my teenage sons who are at an age now where they're starting to listen and learn, and they're interested in money, they're interested in doing this, they're interested in doing that. And now I can literally hand them a business on a silver platter, and versus saying, hey, just go do this, it's like, okay, don't just go do that. Let me show you how to do this. Let me show you how to cook this up. Let me show you how this whole thing runs. Therefore, they don't have to waste 20 years of time trying to figure out what the heck I meant in 2018, because I showed it to them. I showed them how to do it. I showed them how to build the business. In our business, it's simple. There's two proven ways that you can generate wealth, that you can create generational wealth. Number one way is you can find and flip. This takes no cash but creates large paydays. Or you can find and purchase. The choice is yours. Now here at Pinnacle Investments, we do both. We don't buy everything that we see, because not everything that we see do we want to buy. Really that simple. And when you're building your own portfolio, and you're building your own portfolio for generational wealth, what you look for is you look for characteristics in a deal that might create problems or issues down the road, like low money down, poor credit, low interest rates, things like that. You look for those types of characteristics. Or if it's a performing note, you're looking for things that ultimately might lead to a default down the road. In other words, if they're constantly paying late, is this going to become a problem for me? Not that I'm anti-default, because we've played very well in that space as well, but we've also looked at it and said, hey, wait a minute. If I'm going to pay for a performing note, which you pay more for a performing note than you would a non-performing note, then I want that note to perform. Really just very simply stated. So there's two key ways that you can make money in the business. There's the fund and flip or find and flip model, which we do on a regular basis here at Pinnacle, as you can tell by our numbers from 2018, or the find and purchase model. And we do the fund and flip model because that allows us to pick the ones that we want to fund and purchase, find and purchase, as it says. So I share these things with you to share this with you. I'm doing a 2-day live streaming event on December 13th and 14th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on both days. You can take the event from the comfort of your own home or office. The entire event will be recorded, but it's also designed to be interactive as well. So we'll be taking questions, and I'm going to share with you and show you step by step how you can build your own generational blueprint around buying and selling notes or wholesaling notes, and hopefully you're doing both. Because the truth is, if you're in the space and you're not setting aside some deals for yourself, and you're not building up your own portfolio for your own children and for your own future, then you're really missing out on a lot of opportunities. And by doing those kinds of things, you're actually leveraging your knowledge, you're leveraging your effort to a point where it produces that generational cash flow, it produces that generational asset, it generates generational wealth for you as well. These are key factors, okay? And that's what the note business has always been for me. Now, people will often ask me, they'll say, well, Troy, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And those ideas are great ideas. But when I look at what the banks have done, and everybody can attest to this, that the tallest buildings in every city in the country are bank buildings. They also have the biggest signs. They also have the shiniest sides. They're bank buildings. Why? Because they understand generational wealth. They understand the rule of 72. They understand compound interest. They understand investing in real estate and not, AKA, in other words, not doing the fix and flip and the rehab stuff. Not that I'm against that stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you some really cool things that we can do in that space at the event on December 13th and 14th. So day one, We're going to talk about building and scaling your business. What are investors and banks buying? Stop wasting your time and find deals that produce profit for you. It's the only way to get paid. I see deals on a regular basis that don't fit our matrix. They don't fit anybody's matrix. And yet they were created out of creativity to get a deal done, but they're not necessarily deals that fit well into an investor model for me or for institutions. So those are key things to understand. We're going to show you how to do autopilot marketing, what I call the L4 method. The L4 method will create automated leads for life. You can do it through your website and texting, emails, and calls. Those are the 4 legs of the L4 method, and we show you how to do that. This is how well this is working for our business here at Pinnacle. When you type in Chandler Note Buyer, there's 10 million results for Chandler Note Buyer. We're number 1, we're number 3, and we're number 4 out of the investors in this space. So you can go here, you can click on this website or this first link. You see Pinnacle Investments Capital Group. You see how we're lead sourcing our deals. We're going to show you how to set up this same exact thing. We're going to show you how to build out all of this. And once it's set up, it runs on autopilot in the background. We're going to show you how we're getting those types of rankings for keyword searches and for digital marketing strategies. So website, texting, emails, calling. The great thing that we have about our business and our note business and our industry is one of the coolest things about it is that we can in turn, we know exactly who owns the notes. We know exactly where they're all at. We know how to contact those people. And then it's just a matter of contacting them and making an offer on what they have and would be willing to sell. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, not everybody wants to sell. And that's okay. That's what I call tomorrow money. There's today money and tomorrow money. But it will never be tomorrow money for me or for you or for anybody else if they don't know that we exist. So we let them know that we exist. And we let them know that we're here. And we let them know that we're available. We provide value to them so that when that time is right for them, they'll come and sell their note to us. That's how we beat the competition. That's how we get ahead of the competition. That's how the competition continues to scratch its head, wondering exactly what in the world are they doing over there at Pinnacle versus what they're trying to do on their own. Where's the capital? How to set up lines of credit to purchase notes for yourself. I'm even going to introduce you to people that have capital to get started. So if you're looking for capital, you're looking for small lines of credit, things under $1 million, I'm more than happy to introduce you to people that have lines of credit that you can go and apply for, and they will set you up where you can buy your own notes in the performing as well as in the non-performing space. We're not going to be talking about non-performing because we're focused on the performing note space, but it can be available for that. Here's the beauty of this. The lines of credit can be used to go out and buy deals. Because of the low cost of capital on the lines of credit, they cash flow very, very well. And they can produce great income and great revenue very, very well. So it's important to know that those things are available for each and every one of you. No matter what your circumstances are, no matter what your situation is, they're available. There are different levels of capital, depending upon where you're at, but they're readily available. I'm going to show you how to run your entire business. So finding product with the L4 method so you can dominate your market. On the first day, I'm going to show you how to run your entire business, spending less than 10 hours a week, okay, to produce six-figure income from your laptop. We're going to implement the L4 method. We're going to show you how we're building our websites out, how we're SEO optimizing these, where our leads are coming from, how we're working with the leads, how to text these people, how to email these people. And we even have third parties doing calls for us because I don't have time all day long to do calls out to sellers. So I outsource that to a third party that actually we have 3 third parties that we're outsourcing it out to now. And they're producing leads for us on a regular basis. That's over and above what comes in on our websites just through our rankings here, as I just shared with you. I'll show you how my $400 a month marketing budget has been working for the last 10 years, yet every year I profit mid-6 figures just wholesaling notes alone. I'll show you how I do this, and you can even put it to work for yourself during the event and after the event as well. Oftentimes, people look at marketing as being a very, very big expense. And although I would agree, it can easily become a very big expense and out of control expense if you don't pay attention to how you put it together. Given the fact that we're in a digital era, we're in a digital world, and the majority of people that have notes tend to check their phones, go online, and respond to emails, and take calls. We have taken the top 4 methods in contacting note holders and have perfected those and fine-tuned those so that we get the types of leads that we're looking for, and then we start building the relationships with those particular sellers month in and month out until they're ready to sell. Number 2, how to close deals and create profits. I have a very simple 1-page smart contract that we use, and we use on every single deal that locks in the seller. As a matter of fact, this contract is so effective that I had a seller the other day, actually, when we were on our cruise, want to back out of a deal. And when I pointed out some key language in the contract and the penalty that it was going to assess to them, they changed their mind. Now, why were they wanting to back out of the deal? Because somebody told them they could get more money for a deal after they had signed a contract with us. Okay? It had nothing to do with the deal itself. We were navigating through it, getting the due diligence done and all that. But he thought, well, I'll just cancel this contract and I'll go over here and get this contract and I'll make more money over here. And when we reminded him what was in the contract, he's like, okay, I started doing business with you first. I'm going to maintain my integrity. I'm going to follow through, and we're going to close the deal. That's the power of having a smart contract. That's the power of having the right language in your agreements to protect you and them, okay, and the seller as well, from anything going awry. Okay, smart offer formula. I was just asked Friday if I would do an entire session just on our smart offer formula, and to a group of about 1,000 attendees that we're going to do in February for some friends of ours who are doing an online presentation. And they asked me to come on and to talk about our smart offer formula. And I said, yeah, I'll come on and let's talk about it. Now, here's the cool thing. That's not until February. And what I'm talking about is showing it to you here in December. Okay, I'm talking about showing it to you sooner versus later so that you can lock up deals, so that you can increase your closing percentages. Keep in mind that all of this has to do with running a business that cash flows. Just like my grandfather says, run a business that cash flows. Build a business that cash flows. Invest before you spend. Investing in your business is definitely an investment. Investing in notes is definitely an investment. All of those things are wisdom from people that walked on this earth way before I did, but really didn't take the time to show. They just told. So there was a difference there. I'm going to show you how this applies to your business, how this applies to your business model. My 10-day closing method, how to make it happen. Okay, how to get through deals quickly. Okay, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. If you do it the right way, you'll close more deals faster, you'll make more money sooner, and you'll be more profitable throughout the long run. How to build a team around you to help grow and increase your profits. Okay, you cannot do this business on your own. You can try to do it on your own, and you'll probably have some level of success associated with it. But you can't scale the business without having the right team around you. And whether or not you plug into that team today or you plug into that team in 2 years, having that team and knowing that team is imperative to have in your back pocket for you to use them or to reach out to them when the time is right for you as you grow and scale your business. Day number 2, we're going to talk about how to negotiate for profit, how to get paid twice on a deal. Okay, it's one of my favorite things to do is get paid twice on deals, on wholesaling deals. Minimum 30-minute underwriting, the art of due diligence and time management. I don't spend a lot of time on due diligence. Okay, due diligence can be very draining. It can be very, they say, brain warping type energy. And for me, that's not a great use of my time. So I've learned how to very quickly go through deals to understand what it is I need and to let the seller know, hey, we're missing A, B, C, and D. Please get these to me, and then we'll move this train along. Who are the top 7 real note buyers that I work with? And I'm talking about banks and institutions. I'm talking about people with cold, hard cash, people with money, people that are ready to spend money and help you grow your business. This eliminates all of the question marks that go with, if I find a deal, who am I going to sell it to? Sell it to these guys. They're paying a top dollar premium. They've got the team in place. They'll underwrite the deal. They'll pay for all the costs and the expenses for doing so, and they'll pay you a handsome fee to bring it to them if you don't want to buy it on your own. You want to buy it on your own? That's another conversation. Next 30 days, step-by-step guide to fast-tracking your business after the event. What you need to do step by step every day that you leave the event. You will know exactly what it is you need to do. You'll have the tools, you have the resources, you have the contacts, you have the access to capital, you'll have a ton of things in order to have your business grow exponentially. Like I said, we're going to show you how to do it. We're not going to tell you how to do it. We're going to show you how to do it. And hands-on, over the 2-day time period, you're going to physically be doing things. Okay? You're going to be physically doing things on your end while I'm broadcasting from my end, and we're going to step by step through the process to set things up for you. Okay? Set things up for you. So this is not a sit back and take notes type of an event. This is an involved type of an event. And if you're not able to make it, I would encourage you to do everything you could, even if it's blocking out those 2 days. If you have to come back and listen to certain segments, not a problem. We're still going to support you. All you have to do is shoot us an email with your questions, your concerns, and we'll certainly answer those, or myself or Kim will jump on the phone with you and walk you through it. I'm going to give you guys some bonuses. Okay? I love bonuses. I love extras. I love over-serving. I love serving everybody at the highest level. And so I'm going to do 100 note holder leads on first lien performing SFR properties around the U.S. So the average UPB is going to be over 70,000. Okay. I say that, but the truth is last time I did that, they were over 100,000, but I want to kind of under promise and over deliver. And the simplicity of it is just closing one deal could easily net you about $4,500 easily. So it more than benefit from the free 100 leads. Not only that, but I'm going to show you where you can go get some more of those if you want, which you're going to want, by the way, just FYI. I'm going to give you the 2018 Note Buyer Directory. Okay, what is the Note Buyer Directory? It's the directory of buyers of notes in the country if you want to sell wholesale deals too. These are the men and women in the industry that are veterans of the industry. They're on Wall Street. They're in banking communities. They're ready to write a check and pay a premium for your deal. Not to mention, it allows you to serve your clients at the highest level possible. you get compensated, you get paid, and ultimately the bank takes on the deal. And you then can take that money, put it back in your business, grow your business, invest in your business, grow it up so that you can find the deals that you want to buy. Now, I highly recommend that you buy deals along the way. And most people that I know start buying deals that are less than $30,000, which is just fine. It's a great place to start. I'm also going to put together bonus number 3, which is 2018 Capital Directory. This is a directory of unlimited capital for you to go out and purchase your own deals as you see fit. So if you want to find and buy deals and you want to leverage capital and do a leveraged model out on deals, there's nothing wrong with that. Banks do it all the time. Wall Street does it all the time. You can do it just as well, and you'll have access to that also. All right, so there's bonus number 3. And bonus number 4, we have all the documents and paperwork that you'll need to lock down deals, including our smart contract, which is the only one in the industry, our smart offer formula, which is the only one in the industry, which absolutely crushes it when it comes to getting clients under contract. Our note evaluation software, which gives you the ability to review every deal in advance and understand right up front whether or not you've got a deal that can make you money. We also have our due diligence software, which walks you step by step through the process on every single deal so that you know exactly what things you have received from a client, as well as what things you still might need in order to get that deal done and to assist the bank in buying the deal from you, or if in fact you're putting it in your own portfolio, it's a perfectly built roadmap to make sure that you have dotted every I and crossed every T prior to closing the deal. And then we've got our autopilot marketing software, which centers around our L4 methodology, which talks about websites, texting, emailing, and calling. So those 4 key elements are what drives our business every single day. And the key to driving that business is to perfect all 4 of those methods. And we're going to show you exactly how that's done, the teams that we use, the virtual assistants that we use, and how that goes into building out the model to accomplish the goals that you're looking for. So at our live 2-day event, okay, it's a live streaming event. So the beauty of this is that you get to do this from the luxury of your own home or your own office, and we're going to be streaming live directly to you so that you can engage, ask questions, and it's recorded. So we're going to put it into our own private membership suite so that you can go and review it anytime you need to, which is a lot better than going to a true live event where you oftentimes don't ever get the recordings. And if you're not at the event or you're not at a certain speaker, you have to then take those notes, or you have to find somebody that has those notes or tells you about what you missed. You don't have to worry about that. This is recorded, so you can go back and listen to it as many times as you want to help build your knowledge and your understanding and growth of your business. So this live streaming event, okay, it's a one-time payment of $2,097. But if you're one of the first 25 people to register, I'm willing to give you a credit of $1,000 towards your enrollment. So I'm going to give you a credit of $1,000, which allows you to be all in for $1,097. And this includes all of the bonuses, all 4 bonuses, all of the recordings, all of the trainings, the ability to engage and ask questions, and continued support after the event. Live 2-day event is taking place on December 13th and 14th. So you have time to sign up. You have an opportunity to put it on your calendar. If for some reason you miss a session, no big deal. It is recorded, And if you have questions during the recording, we have the system built so that you can ask the questions. It'll come directly to our office, and we will answer that question to make sure that you have a solid understanding about your next step in the business to building out your $1 million model. So you can simply register by going to www.thriving.investor.com/Warren, okay? And it'll save you $1,000. That's only available for the first 25 people, okay? First 25 people will save themselves $1,000 for this live event. And you can simply grab your spot by going to www.thriving.investor.com/Warren, WARREN, and register today to save yourself $1,000. Now, here's a beautiful bonus. I'm going to reward the fast action takers by giving them a $50 Amazon gift card. So once you're signed up and registered, if you're one of the first 5 people to register from this call today, you will be notified. We will track them internally. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they will receive via email a link that will give them a $50 credit on their Amazon account so that they can spend it any way you want to. You can use it to buy presents, gifts, or buy yourself a treat and reward yourself for taking action. The people that register 6 through 10, they're going to get a $25 Amazon gift card, and they will receive it the same way that the first group does, but it's for 25 bucks, and they too can reward themselves for taking action as well. So you can spend it on anything you want in the Amazon world and enjoy the benefits of taking action. Now here's something that's I'm really excited about. I put together what I call the killer bonus. And the killer bonus is open to everybody, okay? So whether you sign up number 1 or you sign up number 15, you will automatically be registered for a live drawing that's going to take place on the 14th, okay? So it'll take place on the 14th, and we are going to put everybody's name in the pot, and we're going to draw one lucky winner to receive a full business startup package. Now, this startup package is a HP 15-inch touchscreen laptop computer with the Windows Office 3 or Windows Office version on it. It's at my IT guy. He's formatting the whole thing. It's a brand new computer. I just bought it yesterday. I dropped it off at my IT guy. He's taken off all the garbage stuff. He's putting on the software, the Microsoft Windows and the Microsoft Office, things like that that you're going to need for your business. On top of that, got a amazing printer. Actually, it's the same one that we use in our office. It's the HP 8700, and it's a wireless printer that allows you to print, fax, and scan. And with that, you will have the tools necessary to grow your business. Like literally, this is our entire business is a laptop computer and a printer. That's our entire business. And we're able to do all of that as long as we're hooked up to the internet and we have email and things of that nature. We run a multi-million-dollar a year business with those 2 key components. And I'm going to have my IT guy that takes care of my stuff. He's going to take care of your stuff. He's going to set you up. And then afterwards, if you ever want an IT guy, I'm more than happy to hook you up. But here's the beauty of this. Everybody that registers for the event registers and pays for the event. Even if you can't make it to the event, like you just want to be at the event, but you've got some prior commitments that aren't going to allow you, you still want to get the recordings of the event. You still want the event because it'll automatically register you into this drawing, which is about $1,000 worth of computers and hardware and IT and fax machine, printers, all wireless, all that kind of fun stuff. It's a $1,000 bonus. Somebody's going to get it, okay? And we're going to hold a special drawing on Friday the 14th, and that way everybody will be entered in the pot, and we'll draw, and that way it'll be shipped out immediately thereafter, so that you'll get it very quickly and be able to be set up and running within a week after the event. So very cool, all brand new, never used. We're going to load some other cool bonuses and resources on it for you to benefit from and to enjoy as you grow and build your business. So that's our killer bonus, and everybody that registers for the event gets that. So once again, you can register at www.thethriving.investor.com/Warren. That's WARREN. Let me repeat that again. It's www.thriving.investor.com/Warren, WARREN. This is for the first 25 people that register get $1,000 savings on the investment of the class. The first 5 people that register get an Amazon $50 gift card. 6 through 10 get a $25 Amazon gift card. Everybody that registers for the class, registers and pays, is entered into a business technology package for their business, and everybody gets that, as well as on top of it, you get to attend the live event, you get to ask questions, you get the recordings of the live event, you get support after the live event, plus all the other bonuses, the directory, the softwares, the marketing, the tools, the resources, the support. All of that is included for the investment of $1,097. That's $1,000 savings on this event. And the beautiful thing about it is the recordings are there. They're there for life, so you can use them. You can come back. You can review them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. You got questions, no big deal. Shoot us a question. We have always been here for our students. The fact that we've been in this real estate space for 22 years, the fact that we continue to support students long after any event has ever been completed, is just a true testament to our company and our commitment to seeing people succeed. So with that being said, grab your spot, grab one of the first 25 spots, and if you're one of the first 5, congratulations. If you're one of the 6 through 10, congratulations. But more importantly, grab your spot and you'll be entered into the business technology package for yourself. With that being said, I want to thank everybody for spending some time with me here today. So one more time, www.thethriving.investor.com/Warren, WARREN. This is the live 2-day streaming event coming directly to you in the comfort of your home or office. So have a great day. Take care. God bless. Bye now.